Now then, people. Test is good. Yes, I know. Impromptu live stream, totally unscripted, totally unprepared. I haven't even wiped the shine off my head. That's how unprepared it is. Don't get to see my little face very often, do you now, people? Well, I've got a treat for you today. Get to see me rosy cheeks and everything. So how y'all doing today? Let me know if the audio is coming through. Thank you very much. Righto. Yes, the title screen will show for like 10 seconds because the live stream's like 10 seconds behind what I'm actually saying. So the chat actually is sort of like delayed as well. I see the chat immediately, but you're talking about what's happening 10 seconds ago. If that... Oi, oi! Anyway, so let's look at the old Bitcoin price chart, shall we? Because I don't see anyone on YouTube live streaming this as it's happening. So let's do it, shall we? Let's get fancy layout on the go. Here's fancy layout. Righty-ho, let's load up the Cryptoverse layout. Yeah, look at this, lovely. So on the daily chart, oh, it's all a mess. Let's just be real. It's a bloody mess. That looks like a relatively large red candle, even on the, let's put the auto zoom on, even relative to the price, right? But let's go down to the 4-hour chart and I'll sort of narrate what I've got here. This white dotted line is $8,000. I was taking a look at, price interaction at that level. And you can see there was a lot of dithering at this point, like, where it's like up and down, above, below, above, below, above, below. And you see these two candles right here. You've got move up and then move down. Clearly didn't hold. A swing back up, headbutt, head hits itself on the ceiling, and then down we went. Now the next point was to look at the next or the previous low from the 18th of March back here, right? So that hit a low of 7,240, which is why I plotted this horizontal yellow line, because you'd expect that traders would look at this and they would say, well, this was like the lowest people were willing to sell at before. This is where all the buyers came rushing in. And we can tell that by moving the chart up a bit. You see the volume here. You see like there was large volume on this candle, but then tons of buyers came in like 8 hours later and bosh, straight back up above 8,000. So that's what a lot of traders will be looking at. And I reckon a lot of orders will be on the books at that point, right? And you can see the order books on Coinigy right here, right? You can see how many people are placing orders and at what price. So let's get rid of that for just a second here. So that was historically what was going on. And if you look back at the Cryptoverse recently, you'll have already seen this horizontal yellow line plotted. But now as we've come down, you can see, well, that long tail, look at this tail, this is brilliant. Let's get right in there. So look at the volume as well, volume increasing, which is curious. So there's a lot of volume pushing it down. That tail went down to 6,778, but look at the body of the 4-hour candle is sitting right on it. So we have to go even closer to the price. Let's go down to the 1-hour chart. So this is what it looks like. So this is 9 p.m. UTC candle, which closed 18 minutes ago. And on the right hand side here, you see we've got in yellow there 7,240. So that's yellow corresponding to the yellow horizontal line here that I plotted, which was the previous low, wherever that is, way back there. Never mind. But then we've got the green price on the far right here, 72.26. That's like the current closing price. And then there's a little timer here. It says 40 minutes and 50 seconds, and it's counting down. So that is how long is left until this candle's fully formed. So this started being formed 10 p.m. UTC. So that's been forming for 19 minutes, and it's got 40 minutes to form. The reason that matters is because technical traders are looking at candlestick patterns, right? So they'll make decisions based on the formation of the candles, but don't generally make decisions based on half-formed candles because the market hasn't, spoken until the candle is fully formed, right? So in the last hour candle, we hit, or we went right down here to 7,102, and it's in the last 20 minutes that this candle has been formed. And look, serious indecision on the go here. So let's get right up in here. You see, this is a spindle, this spinning top type of thing. There's a mad battle going on. Look at all this volume. Great big battle going on between, so the range is, the high was 72.60 and the low is 69.78. And we're pretty much right in the middle of that right now on the bullish side, right? Because it's a green candle from the open to the close, which hasn't closed yet. So let's go take a vote in the chat. What do you reckon, guys? So 4K, 2K, some people are saying RIP Bitcoin. The buyers were on drugs. Well, actually, okay, so let's go back to the technicals. Let's stick the auto zoom back on. Let's go back up to the daily chart and let's zoom out, right? So let's pinch, move up. So the next stop, right? So we're busting all the support levels right now. 8,000, it's gone. The battle for 72.40, which was the low from the 18th of March. Battle's on for that right now. And then, you know, medium-term trend line here is also another possible stopping point. So I'll thicken this up a bit because the screen's slightly smaller. So let's make it super thick. See that? Touch back there, touch there, touch there. But after that, we're looking at the previous low from the catastrophic crash of 6th of February, which was $6,000 Bitcoin. Could be, right? The other thing we can check is the overall market cap. So a lot of people seem to be retreating into Bitcoin, which is why the dominance figure is climbing. Let's get a little zoom on this. If we hit the market cap, let's do a 1 month view. Because we can also look at the, whoopsie, not that one. 1 month view. Yeah, we can also kind of look at what we got here. The previous low market cap, what we got? 277, many more than that. Yeah, 277. That was from the 18th of March, 10 days ago. But we're actually below that right now. Look, 269 billion. Someone says, take no notice of the NWO trolls on here. What do the NWO trolls say? What do they say? There is no indecision, let's admit it. We'll retest 6K. Kieran says that. Yeah. Oh, do I sound like I'm in a panic? No. And that's after a great big... Oh, there's product placement, cost of coffee. It's even after a great big... Well, it's not big, this is a regular one. But you think that would make me hyper, but it doesn't. Hello, 23 Uvis. How are you doing? Is the end of the world as we know it? Well, no, it's the end of money as we know it. That's what Bitcoin is. Stoked. Everyone's stoked. I'm definitely stoked. I was just having a look, actually, at the Weiss cryptocurrency ratings because they came out like an hour ago. And very interesting. They've put Bitcoin on a buy. So they've upgraded Bitcoin to a B-, which is very nice. So they're saying Bitcoin is a buy at this levels. So I'm not going to stay long on the live stream because I want to do something with this, right? And I also want to do some portfolio adjusting. I also want to do some fiat into Bitcoin moves. But this is interesting. Looking at this right now, that looks like a bounce off the trend line. Or a bounce off 7,000, I suppose. Would be the other thing, wouldn't it? Yeah, 7,000 is around there. So big round numbers. People placing their orders around 7,000. Well, this isn't a great order book because you can't really see further down than 10 or so orders. So that's not really helpful, is it now? I only had that open because I was looking at 7240 to see how many orders there were there. I mean, I suppose we could look at the sell walls, but it changes so quickly. You need more of a zoomed out view than that, which is why I suppose GDAX is a good platform for that if you want to see it in dollars, because you can view the exchange without logging in. Let's see here. So we're on Bitcoin US dollar, and if we get a nice big zoom out here, look at this, a steady increase in demand as the price goes down. Some people have got orders in for when Bitcoin hits $2,000. Why not? Why not? And why not? But you see, like the propensity to sell. So from the current spot price, which is 71.50 on GDAX, right? There's say we go 5 grand below the current spot price. You see the curve steeps up quite a bit on the buy side, but if you go 5 grand above the current spot price, the population of sellers is smaller. Now, granted, these are all limit orders, right? So you don't know how many people are waiting on the sidelines, ready to just dump a market order. You know what I'm saying? But right now, look at all this support here. 62 Bitcoin is worth of orders at 71.50, and only 9 Bitcoins worth of sell orders. So at this moment in time, the support is stronger than the resistance, if you know what I mean. And this is purely on GDAX, right? And more Bitcoins coming in to support that 71.50 as we speak. Look, 84 Bitcoins, and that's the sellable is gone now, completely gone. So that's going to start pushing the price up a little bit. Now people are starting to bid it up. That buy wall's getting pushed down. 10 Bitcoins, 15 Bitcoins worth of buying power. It's hardly moving the price at all, though. Let's zoom right in here. There you go. Look, there's the buy wall supporting 71.49. What's the increments here? So the next increment is, they're like $2 increments, aren't they? Where the sell walls are. But yeah, I like this zoomed out view. Because if you look at the bigger picture, I like that analysis I just did. 5 grand below the price, you've got this very steep hill. 5 grand above the price, you've got a really reasonably shallow hill. So yeah, so that's looking like good support. I mean, who wouldn't want to buy a 5 grand Bitcoin, I suppose? Or I mean, 6 grand is really the number to look at, because you can reconcile this against what we were just looking at the charts, right? So back to the daily chart, you would assume that if traders are looking at this, actually, because my cursor isn't very big, I could probably do with an ellipse. There we go. So you'd assume traders are looking at this. Ah, crap it. Doesn't matter. I'll make it yellow. Yeah, you would assume traders were looking at that, right? That low right there, 6K, and then they would put in their orders at 6K. So the question is, how many people are doing that? About $57 million. 9,500 Bitcoins. So not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's see what your opinion is in the chat right now. What about hidden orders? What do you mean hidden orders? The orders are either on the book or they're not orders. That's why I made a mention of, people who are waiting on the sidelines to just dump a market order. So you don't know how much USD is sat on Coinbase, right? Waiting to just dump on the markets as a buy or a sell. What is the white line? The white line. Do you mean on the charts? Sorry, this is a question from 23 Uvis. All right, I'll just narrate what's on here anyway. Let's get rid of the ellipse. So this, let's make it a pink color so you know what I'm talking about. This great big pink line is a medium-term trend line. So get off. If I zoom out here and pinch and pinch. So this is a trend line that's been tested 3 times. First time was the 15th of September back in 2017, before the massive run-up. So that's when it started. We had a second test on the 6th of February when we hit 6,000. That was pretty much the bottom of this massive price correction. And that's why I've drawn my Fibonacci lines based on that, right? And then, sorry, this is good. You can use Coinigy measuring tool here. Check this out. So you can hit 20K and you can measure this all the way down there. And this tells us that in 51 days, Bitcoin's price corrected by 69%, give or take. And that aligns pretty much perfectly with previous price corrections of this magnitude, right? I think the previous major price correction, like 2016, was about 49 days. So in terms of cycles, pretty sweet, right? So following that, How do you get rid of that? Just click it. So following that, you could call this like a sideways move. I know it's like a, it looks like volatility, but if you just segmented that whole thing, it's all within a range. In fact, you can somewhat, oh, look at me pink lines now. You can draw somewhat of a, you see the highs are kind of pinching and the lows are pinching. Anyway, that was the question you asked. What was the white line? So that's that one. And then this grey line here is just the bottom of the Fibonacci line, which goes from 20k to 6k, and then plots potential hidden resistance as we go back up, as you can see right here, right? You can see that because you could have guessed this reversal, I suppose, based on the, because you could have drawn this Fibonacci retracement on the 6th of February. Let me put my pink line back to a white line. Yeah, so you could have drawn that, right? And then, whoop, this, I'll call this a shooting star. You see right there? I'll have to zoom in further. I don't have a scroll mouse, I use a trackball, so I have to keep doing the pinching. So let me draw my ellipse again. That right there, that's the shooting star pattern. Sorry, evening star. So you got price move up, you know, sunrise and then sunset. And also, if that was in isolation, it would be a nice bearish signal anyway, as an evening star pattern, with the red candle and the green candle side by side, you know, with this long head. But the fact that these Fibonacci levels are drawn as well, well, that's contributing to the resistance that is causing it to go down. And so you would have seen that, right? And then it happened again, like 10 days later. Price was like, oh, I'm gonna, no, I'm not. So yeah, that's the previous low as well, 6K. There we go. I was just watching Crypto's live stream with Trace Mayer, you know. It was nice. It was nice. I would say my analysis of that is that Trace had kind of half some pre-prepared talking points about bashing Bitcoin Cash, and half the time he was, you know, doing his thing, which is his super brainiac analysis that everyone loves. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Someone says, I'm such a noob. I thought I bought 0.2 Bitcoin, but ended up only buying 0.02. That was at 81.50. Well, that's actually good. Hours rock, because you that's good. Yeah, you thought you bought 0.2 Bitcoin, but you ended up buying less than that. That's good because the price has gone down. So you've kind of been, you've been saved. You've been saved by that, haven't you? You know. Now let's inspect the price and get rid of that. I don't want that ellipse sat there looking at me. So let's go back to zoom, auto zoom, back to the 1 hour chart. You see, most of the moves finished now. I think the buyers and sellers have rebalanced. Look at that volume though. Serious volume. What did we do? What did we traded? 7,000 Bitcoins? Hang about 3,000 Bitcoins is that? I don't, what are those two numbers? Oh, that's the moving average and the current volume, sorry. Of course. Yeah, so 8,000 Bitcoin traded in the last hour on Bitfinex versus the previous hour, which was 7,000. So that's nice. Could go back to 2,800. Well, I don't know. If we go back to the daily chart, and let's assume the worst case scenario, which is that 6K busts, right? Then where's the next support? I suppose you see my crosshair. If you put a horizontal line there, which oddly enough looks to be about 5K, you see here, back there, that's a good support. Get off. That looks like a nice support level because it was tested there, it was tested there, and you needed a big move to bust through it. And actually, once 5K bust, it was almost a straight line with that pause all the way up to 20K. So it's funny, isn't it? 6K, 5K, psychologically significant round numbers. So it could just be a case of looking for the thousands on the way down, right? And then there's another one. What's that one? That's the 3K. And it's the same story again. Look, if I take this and clone it, it's the same story again. If you stick that there, same again, boom, resistance, boom, and then finally Bosch, and off we go. That was a run from, nothing much happened at 4K though, did it? It just blew straight through it, support, and off it went again. So this is it's predictable in that way. It works both ways though, right? It's good when you break the thousands, the round numbers on the way up, but same thing happens on the way down. Every time a round number breaks, like 7K or 6K or 5K, you can almost bank on it that you're heading for the next 1,000 number, right? You get me. Hi Chris, I see a confirmed bull break for EOS. Can you comment on this great divergence? You mean, why does EOS keep, what's this, Bitfinex, EOS against Bitcoin? Interesting that, isn't it? Look. Well, of course, if Bitcoin's falling, of course, EOS will be rising. But let's look at it against the US dollar instead. Let's look at a different perspective, isn't it? So EOS looks sideways if you look at it from a US dollar point of view. But if you look at it from a Bitcoin point of view, on the 4 hour, say, it'll look like a short-term uptrend. Yeah, look, golden cross. You see the old, this is a 50 period and a get off. Oh, delete. Delete. So the red line is the 50 period moving average, and this is a 200 period moving average. Yoo-hoo. So that is a golden cross, which is the opposite of a dead cross. And I don't know why people call it a death cross. Death cross. I've never heard it termed like that before. When I was my Forex mentor, I always used to call it a dead cross. A death bounce, yeah. So anyway, that's EOS on the 4 hour chart. Trading against Bitcoin, it's doing pretty well. And that's where it's valuable to go over to CoinMarketCap and flip the pricing, which looks terrible. If you price it in dollars, oh my God, just terrible all the way down. That's where it's useful to flip it into Bitcoin mode and then see what happens. Well, Tron's doing better. EOS might be 6% up when priced in Bitcoin. Tron's kicking its ass. 11.2%. Any advances on 11.2? Anyone beating that out? What about Ontology? Because that was kicking ass. Nope. Priced in Bitcoin, it's down. Any more? Any advances? Oh, Kin. Never heard of it. 15.6% up. Oh, there we go. XPA. I saw that one. What's that? Never heard of it. What does this do? XPA is an ecosystem that brings blockchain asset management to a higher level. That's about as general as it gets. That's why crypto isn't taking off. The marketing is so terrible, right? The ability to communicate exactly what the damn project is and what it does. And that's why these projects default to all the buzzwords, because I think that's what people want to hear. However, when everybody's using the same buzzwords, it just loses its meaning, doesn't it, right? So drop the buzzwords and take some sales training or something and use the phrase which means that, right? That's the kind of the key to sales and marketing, which is like to a higher level. That's just like higher level than what, right? Higher level than other cryptos. What does that even mean, right? You got to quantify it. So let's see if there's any other buzzwords here. XPA seamlessly bridges the gap between cryptocurrency and real-world assets. Again, there's too many projects claiming that, so it's not a differentiating factor, is it? I mean, I'm not saying that XPA isn't different. It's just that if they're not able to communicate the difference, it may as well not exist. That's just my marketing background talking. An innovative blockchain management combines decentralized transactions, asset collateral, and external capitals. Maybe this is indicative of maybe not trying to sell to the average person. You know, it depends who they're targeting, really, doesn't it? And I suppose they're targeting the average man on the street. Well, if they are, this marketing messaging is absolutely terrible. What's up, James Hernandez? What's going on? Adjust your mic. The sound is too low. It isn't. I can assure you. I can assure you it is not. Let's just make sure that I think my volume's the same. It's on 87%, and my volume equalizer is jumping up and down. I don't want it to go into the red zone because that'll boom. Amit says the bounce is going to be fast. I reckon. It may well be. Can everyone else give me a sound check here? What's the voice volume like? I think after EOS speech at Georgia Tech, a lot of bullishness. And I sold my stack. Hours rock. You actually sold your EOS stash? Did you really? Did you? Oh, excuse me. What did I do yesterday? I finally let go of that block cat. You know, I was holding some block cat, like, I don't know, $100 worth. I was holding $100 worth of block cat, and no clipping. Excellent. So I sold my $100 worth of block cat, which was down like 70% from when I bought it, and I just converted it to EOS and then stuck it into the converted it into Ethereum and then just threw it into the EOS crowd sale. Volume is fine, says Cameron. I have 2 screaming kids. Rah. Don't be like that. Green Mitzi. Crypto is dead. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would you say that to us? Why would you say that? Volume is very low compared to other videos. I can assure you it's not. Because the output... Alright, fine. Fine. I'll change it a bit. So let's see. I'm minus 7.2 decibels. Alright. Okay. What am I now? Minus 6 decibels. How's that? Maybe I'll go up more. Right, that's minus 4.4 decibels. But, okay, sounds better. Hours rock. Yes, I hodl EOS from the regular distributions, but it's too much money into it, and it's priced for perfection. Actually, that makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense. The Hobie token is doing great. Or Hobie exchange. How do you spell it? H-U. Hobie token. All the exchanges are getting their own tokens. Well, it's not doing that well. It's still down 4%. Oh, it's been doing well recently. Look at that. Woohoo! Do you think it's traded on the Hobie exchange? It's the only exchange it's traded on, you know what I mean? He probably says crypto is dead because his trading view guy, he has a trading view guy, and the trading view so-called TA pros are calling it. Oh yeah, because you can get that. You can get that whole thing, can't you? You can have. Let's go to Twitter because I saw. I think Trace Mayer tweeted out. Let's find Trace. Before no, that one. Oh, you packed that in. There. It auto suggests kept sending me to the wrong place. Let's see here. Trace Mayer tweeted some out about... Yeah, here we go. So here's the tweet from, a few hours ago. So the tweet is, this great credit contraction capital... Sorry, in this great credit contraction, capital moves down the liquidity pyramid into safer and more liquid assets. So Bitcoin Cash has existed for 239 days. And the 200-day moving average for a Bitcoin Cash BTC is, 1.255, right? So a Bitcoin Cash is worth about 12% of a Bitcoin. Trading view charts seem bipolar. Is Bitcoin Cash a buy at these levels? What do you think and why? Well, first of all, let's look at Bitcoin Cash against the US dollar on the daily chart because it's not doing that well. And interestingly, you can tell that people are retreating into Bitcoin because that's the previous low for Bitcoin Cash. And this pattern looks pretty much the same on all the altcoins. Like Dash, look, actually, Dash is way below its previous low. So that there is the 6th of February when Bitcoin hit 6K. And by comparison, Bitcoin's way above, you know, $1,000 above its 6th of February low. Whereas altcoins that are straight, they're already broken their 6th of February lows. You know what I'm saying? Like Bitcoin's way above still. It's 6th of February lows. So what coin am I talking about here? Bitcoin Cash, sorry. So Bitcoin Cash is the same. All the altcoins. Either people are flowing into Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin, or they're going into Bitcoin and then selling back into fiat. Right? And we know that's happening because the overall market cap of the entire Cryptoverse is falling. So let's get a check-in. 266 and falling. Not great. YouTube is starting to censor the swear words. So ding, ding, ding. Arrows Rock, we have a $10 tip. Thank you, sir. Great channel, by the way. Love the information. Anyone buying ETH at below 20 RSI? So tempting. Yeah, let's have a look at ETH. ETH is doing the same thing, though. Oh, look at that. That's got to hurt. Ouch, kabibble. Wow. Wowee. Oh, good job I don't hold a lot of Ethereum, innit? If I've got any Ethereum, it's in the EOS crowd sale. Let's see. I have got some Ethereum. Let me see. Let me see. I don't really want to look at the portfolio. Ooh! Ooh, my portfolio looks terrible. Oh, it looks terrible. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt really bad. How much Ethereum am I holding? Not a lot. Well, it's still showing a 57% gain from when I bought Ethereum, so I've been holding it for a little while. Oh man, everything's getting spanked. My end hash is still up 76% though from the ICO. That's always good news. Let's put the RSI on Ethereum. So let's just stick it on the chart like this. You know, I accidentally overwrote one of my chart layouts in Coinigy, you know, like by saving it, and I forgot I had an existing one loaded, so it just wiped out all my indicators and my lines. I was mad for about 10 seconds and then I actually thought, oh, this is an opportunity to see if my technical analysis, because it's all right, lazy, you know, relying on your previous, the previous levels you've spotted. But I thought, okay, this is a challenge for you. Look at the chart blank as if for the first time and see what you spot. So now I'm getting the opportunity to redraw all of my indicators and so on. So looking at let's do a 20, should we do a 20-day RSI? Yep. Change the settings here. Imports 20 RSI on the daily. Let's, oh goodness me, let's thicken it up a bit. There we go. Looks nice. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty, we're in oversold territory. We are down to 25. So by default, this plots 70% as the overbought zone and 30% as the oversold zone. And right now it's a reading on the daily chart of about 25. So definitely, if we did full screen, look, seriously in the oversold area. I actually started, it crossed into oversold zone 2 days ago, almost 3 days ago, yeah, on the 26th. So nice. Chris says, please put RSI on the BTC 1 hour chart. Okay, fine. If you want 1 hour BTC chart, this is where we're at. So we're still battling for the trend line support here, around $7,000. Ooh, goodness me. Volume continuing to rise. But if we full screen the RSI, wow, look at that. On the 1 hour chart, the reading's 23. Definitely oversold there. Let's see if we've got any trends. Let's have a look here. Any divergence? Let's have a look. Let's see, what about, I'm doing these experimentation just live to see what works here. No, not much going on in that regard. We've got a Batman. We've got a Batman right there. There's a Batman. That means nothing. It's just one of those things like when you look at when you stare at the clouds and you start seeing, you know, faces and animals and stuff like that. That's called something. If anyone knows what that's called, put it in chat. Wait, there's no real trends on the RSI, to be honest. The biggest one is like there. Lower highs on the RSI. But recency is more important than anything. So the fact that it's oversold in 23 right now, which is setting a new low, which was lower than the 26th, that's cool. ETH will implode soon. Well, under what circumstances would it implode? You got to think about it. Like, you know that someone tweeted out that I'm getting rid of the RSI because it's taking up too much room. Someone was saying the other day that the EOS crowd sale sold like 400,000 ether. I think it was around this level, $400 odd. But you gotta wonder, like, how are all the ICOs managing their money, right? Are they selling it a bit every day? In which case, their income right now will be pretty poor, wouldn't it? It would be pretty terrible. So they might not even be able to pay their bills at, what is it, $384 for an Ethereum token? What if you were selling, I don't know, if you raised, well, there's let me think of what's a ICO that's going on right now? Like, let's say Beluga Pay, which was one of the projects I did a sponsored video for. Well, they're still going. Their ICO is still going. How much have they raised? Does it tell you? How do you know how much they've raised? Don't know. 1 Ethereum equals, well, we'll work it out. So 906, 10,000, so 10,574,619 divided by 960. So Beluga Pay's raised 11,000 ether. So let's say, for example, they were selling. Ryan's got a funny comment. So yeah, so say a Beluga Pay have raised 11,000 ether and they sold 100 a day, right? So 100 a day times 381, that'll be 38,000 a day. Oh, that's quite a lot. It depends how much staff they've got, I suppose. $38,000 a day payroll, that would be some serious payroll. On the other hand, though, they haven't finished their ICO yet, and also they've got an existing business. The point I'm trying to make here is that if you were selling 100 ether a day, right, from your ICO to pay development or run your business and so on, well, your income is just plummeting right now, you know. So it would have gone down from, let's go back to the fancy layout, you know, just boom, 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 boom. Even during the ICO, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, so even during the ICO, even Beluga Pay, if their Ethereum is going into the smart contract and they can't touch it until the ICO is over, which I would hope that is how their smart contract is configured, they'd be like, oh my God, boo, down it goes, right? So they can't get at the ether that's in the smart contract and they're watching it devalue in real time. That would not be nice. At the same time, if they leave it, Ryan's like, time to sell the Lambo. Well, no, I'm not doing that, right? Why would I do that? Well, that's actually smart. This would be the time to sell the Lambo, buy loads of cryptos, and then when it moons, you buy the Lambo back again, right? Just liquidate the Lambo asset and then convert it all to Bitcoin, and then you can buy 2 Lambos. Yay, for the same amount of money. That's the smart money. That's the smart money right there. That is the smart money. Mark D says in buying more EOS. Yeah. Where are you guys going to get it from? Are you going to buy it from Binance, or are you going to get it from the crowd sale? Where are you going to get it? Where are you going to get it from? I always like buying it from the crowd sale because I always say, like, what do you call it? I always say that there's almost like an infinite supply from the token distribution app. You know what I mean? Because, like, for example, if we go to Binance, which is generally where, oh, do you think Binance is hiring? Look at this, like, QA and DevOps. Okay, so let's say, now you're not seeing my login details. Let's say we log into Binance and go to the, what is it, the EOS market. Just got to do the puzzle piece thing. Monster eats the image. Let's try again. Nope. Missed it again. Right, now I've got to do 2FA. I'm going to do something in a minute. Wait. What is this? Binance. I've got like 30 of these things. Right. That's the other thing I like about Binance. You don't have to actually press the submit button. You just type it in, and if it's correct, it just enters it for you, right? Righto, over the exchange we go, and we'll go back to fancy layout. Fancy layout. Right, so this might mess up the whole Binance's interface, but I'll zoom in for the benefit of your viewing pleasure. In my favorites, you can see I've got EOS against ETH, or yeah, I usually, if I'm going to buy EOS from the exchange, which I've stopped doing now, right? Because it came to my awareness that it's better just to buy it from the crowd sale. Like any exchange, there's a limited amount of coins available at any given price, right? So, excuse me. When you see a price like this, right, that's the last trade that went through. So if you want to buy it, you know, whatever that is, 15 million Satoshis, then you can only buy 24 EOS at that price, or you know what I'm saying? That's what the quantity is, right? In that column. So if you wanted to buy 1,000 EOS, well, you'd have to pay like a lot more, 15,200,000. You know what I mean? Whereas in the token distribution app, once the price is determined at the end of the period, well, then you get all the tokens at the same price, which to me is preferable. It is much more preferable. So 1-2 says I buy EOS on the Exodus wallet. Well, sort of. That means you're shape-shifting them, right? Because this is how the Exodus wallet converts, you know, coins from one to another. It just happens in the background. I think this is actually how the Exodus wallet makes money, because they don't charge for the wallet, and they're full-time developers, right? So they'll be making a slight piece of all the exchanges that go on, which is, to me, that's perfectly legitimate, right? It's a good piece of software. Miners have got to be pooping their pants at these prices. Well, if they're smart, they'll have bought some futures, which means they've already locked in a sell price for their Bitcoin, right? So they may have already locked in a sell price at the end of April for a $10,000 Bitcoin or something. So they've sold the risk to traders, you know what I mean? So the traders will be pooping their pants. The ones that bought the futures will be absolutely cacking it right now, no doubt. No doubt in my mind. Oh, I'm starting to get hungry. GPU discounts. Do you think all the GPUs will be on sale now? People are like, Ethereum's up in down to $386. Must sell my GPU. Russell's like $1 Bitcoin, guys. Let's get back to the good old days. That's not going to happen, is it? We're never going to go to $1. What did Trace Mayer call it? The hodlers of last resort. How many people are willing to go down with the ship? That's the way I would put it. Right? How many people would just never sell their Bitcoin, even if it did go down to $1? Right? Because there will be a concrete, that's why you call it the hardcore. There'll be a concrete layer of hodlers that just will not sell. So once all the sellers have gone, right? You know, even people who are willing to sell their Bitcoin at say $5, maybe that's where the hardcore is. But let's say that no one is willing to sell less than $4.99. That would be where the price just would not break. That would be like the hardcore support. I don't think it's anywhere near $5, by the way. I think it's more like $1,000 or something, right? Someone says, add BitShares donations. I've got a BitShares address if you want it. Let's see if I can get it out. What do we want? BitShares. So we go to Open Ledger. Let's see. What is my BitShares? You can send it to Cryptoversity, I think. Yeah. There. On the BitShares network, you can send donations in whatever to Cryptoversity. That's it. And there's the little symbol thingy bob jobby if you want to use that. Hey, it turns into a QR code. Pretty sweet. I'll leave that on the screen for a minute if you want to use that. Hi, thank you. I haven't used this account in a while though. What's this? 16 days ago, someone sent me some bad coin. whatever. April 6th, EOS Dawn 3.0. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm starting to get hungry, so I'm going to have to start winding this up. And I need to do my trading, you know. I thought I had to capture the Bitcoin price movements in real time. So now I've done that, and it's in the bag. Now I can actually do something about it. But we'll do one more look. See what it's doing. Yeah, you see this trend line coinciding with 7,000, providing support, tail dangling below, but serious volume. Let's look at a 1 hour chart. Let's have a look. Oh, serious compression in the body of that candle. Look. Well, look at the volume. Look. Boosh. 14,000 Bitcoins traded in the last hour. Oh, that candle's fully formed now. Hey, we got to see it. We got to see it form almost in its entirety. So after 20 minutes, remember, after 20 minutes into that trading session, it was a green candle and it was more like 7,200. Serious battle between buyers and sellers. Look at that indecision, right? The tail and the wick are almost the same length. And the body's right bang in the middle of the range, slightly to the bearish side. So slightly more selling pressure than buying pressure. However, that's squishing that. So big sell-off, smaller sell-off on the body, massive indecision right on the trend line. And around about 7,000 just got rejected. Seriously, after 14,000 Bitcoins worth of volume. So, yeah. Nanj coin, is that Nanj? Incredible Japanese coin. Okay. Should be Ninja or something, shouldn't it? Ninja coin. There may already be a Ninja coin. What's that? Nathanielson, 92. I'm an average investor, perfectly adequate hodler of modest averageness. Okay. New Bits. I remember New Bits. Yeah. Not heard much from him in a little while. Not heard much from him in a while. Open Ledger's videos are horrible. Yeah, that's why I started out doing the first ever tutorials I did before I started Cryptoversity. They were BitShares tutorials, right? Chris, is something on your radar from the top 10 if the price drops below under a certain level? Good question. Let's have a look. So what's on my radar? I'd like to accumulate more NEO, to be honest, because it's a cash flowing asset. That's the main reason why I want to accumulate that. It's looking like it's the second most resilient coin in the top 10 here, right? So EOS has weathered it the best by only dropping 5%. Excuse me. Oh no, Cardano is the second most resilient, down 8%, and NEO down 9.6%. The biggest, the weakest, or the least resilient here is Bitcoin Cash, which just took a spanking, down 18%. This is in US dollar value. Wowee. Well, even Tether's taking a bit of a spanking there, look. 98 cents. Hey, I'll tell you what we should check. You know, I did that interview with the DAI token, which is another Ethereum-based price stable asset. Look, 98 cents. So it's 1.2% down from its target of $1. It's not so bad, I suppose. What kind of volume? $3 million? It's not a lot, is it? There's a good interview, by the way, if you want to see that interview that I did with the DAI token. Christensen. What's his name? Rune Christensen. Brilliant guy. Brilliant guy. Brilliant guy. The only thing holding the DAI back is the number of pairs that it's traded against. You know, that's where Tether has the advantage, because Tether's traded against, well, almost anything. And now you've got new exchanges adding Tether all the time. I think even Binance now has a bunch of Tether-based pairs. What's it got? What's BCC? I think it's Bitcoin Cash. Binance still hasn't jumped onto the BCH bandwagon. They haven't updated the code yet. So you can trade Binance Coin or Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, NEO, and Quantum against Tether. Interesting. Very interesting. what's interesting about that is that, you know, a lot of us YouTubers have done kind of critical videos about US dollar tether. But if Binance have adopted it and then like Bittrex have adopted it and so on, you would have thought they'd have done some due diligence on it, right? I can almost guarantee they will have done. And they've not been seduced by the FUD, have they now? Otherwise, no. I know BCC is BitConnect, but I don't think that's look, because it's listed as $709, so I don't think it's BCC BitConnect. I think that's Bitcoin Cash. So my point was, Binance must have done their due diligence on Tether and read all the articles, read the fact that they fell out with the regulators, not the regulators, their auditors, and so on and so on and so on. Despite all that, they still decided to adopt it. So, thoughts on Skycoin? Well, Kayhon, I assume you've seen the video I released like a few hours ago, interviewing the lead developer, Synth, as he calls himself. Don't even know what his real name is. But here's the video. Don't play the sound. Oh, will that bunny token ad go away? Look, bunny token. It's a copycat of that Vice project. The Vice, you know, porn token, basically. Oh, look who's live streaming right now. Mr. Doug Polk Crypto. Nice one. Nice one. So this is I released this a few hours ago, and this is Synth, the lead developer of Skycoin. It looks kind of interesting. Not Skyscanner, you divot. Skycoin. What's interesting is they have a hardware component to. This is a different webpage. This is a different webpage than I saw earlier on. Trust me, that is not the webpage I saw earlier on when I was interviewing the guy. But this is the thing I was interested in. The Sky Miner, as they call it. Sky Miner. This is completely different. I'm telling you, this is a brand new website. It's literally within the last few hours. That's confused me. Anyway. What's my opinion on Skycoin? Well, after speaking with Synth, sounds great, right? The old Skycoin project. However, what's really getting difficult is differentiating between all the different projects which are pretty much trying to accomplish the same thing, which is, as Synth described it, you've got the basic blockchain infrastructure, right, of the thing that allows you to do transactions with a digital currency, right, or a token of some kind. And that has all the basic functionality of, you know, transaction fees and scalability and usability and all that. Just does it work, right? And can it handle the capacity? Because without that core that's got the transaction problem solved and speed, you know, and the security and the basic services of the network, that's really the core of it. Because if you don't have that licked, then anything you build on top of it, it's just not going to support it, is it now? And funnily enough, Bitcoin still hasn't solved that, has it? We still can't build a lot of stuff on Bitcoin or Ethereum for that matter, you know, just because the base layer just doesn't have the capacity to provide basic services, which is why I'm such a big fan of EOS, right? Because that's been built with that in mind. Anyway, but that's what Skycoin is talking about. They're like, yep, so we got the base layer sorted out, whatever, the 300 transactions a second on the base layer, and then like every app gets its own blockchain thingy, and then we support all that with dedicated hardware and so on. So sweet. However, there are so many other projects that are pretty much singing the same song, which is, you know, we want to build this platform that's not just a cryptocurrency platform, but it's an application platform. Even Dash is at it, you know, talking about decentralized API and building apps on the Dash network and so on. So how's it going to pan out? Is it going to be like the programming world is today, where, you know, all the different technologies are allowed to flourish, like the .NET framework and Ruby on Rails and all this sort of stuff, on Rudex and all sorts of stuff. Not Rudex, that's a freaking exchange. Redux, I think I'm talking about. All that sort of stuff. They've all got their own little communities, right? And then you've got the WordPress community, and you've got, what's that other one called? Joomla, and all these different software frameworks that have their own communities and are allowed to coexist, right? Is it going to be like that, where horses for courses, right? Where you've got a project you want to build and you just decide, which technology framework to use that suits your use case? Or is it going to be that 80% of them just collapse due to a lack of adoption, and then the few that survive? Or is it going to be one blockchain that rules them all? If I had to say, and I'm just thinking out loud here, I would say it's probably the middle scenario where 80% of the projects that are attempting to be that, application blockchain thing will disappear, and there'll be maybe a handful that remain. And when I say a handful, maybe half a dozen, 5 or 6, that are sufficiently different to offer a buffet of different options for developers, right? So you'll have EOS, Ethereum, Neo, maybe some of the other ones that are coming along like Ontology or Skycoin, or I don't know, some of the 5 or 6 major ones, and maybe there'll be some niche ones, perhaps, if they can sustain themselves, right? That's all they need to do. It doesn't need to be like mad profitable. It just needs to be enough to fund the developers and incentivize the infrastructure sufficiently to allow them to carry on, right? So that's a long answer to the question, right? What was the question? I can't even remember what the freaking question was. I answered it anyway. I'm pretty sure I answered that. Can you say your thoughts on Skycoin, right? So I went from Skycoin, and then I went to the abstract level about they're all trying to accomplish the same thing, and then I went down again to the coins and the projects that I think would be part of those 5 or 6 that will survive, right? So that was just a stream of consciousness from me to you. Alrighty then. All right, that's enough. That's enough now. That's enough. Did anyone send me a... Yay, someone did send me a tip on BitShares. 3 BTS, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Sweet. Thank you very much for that. Wilfred Sadger 01. That's the problem with shouting out usernames on the air, right? So there we jolly will go. I'm closing all of my windows now. Impromptu. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, rumbling. Serious rumbling going on. I had a subway, like, I don't know. It was probably hours ago. No, it was probably hours ago now. Yeah. Wow. That's gone quick. I'm just looking at... someone's tweeted at me saying, when was your Las Vegas meetup? Very interested in your next one. Do you have a meetup group available to join? Well met on Twitter. I did contact, again, the Las Vegas Bitcoin meetup group. And just like last time, when they didn't respond to my request to help me host a meetup, this time around, I messaged them a couple of weeks in advance and said, I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm doing this Crypto Lambo meetup thing, yada, yada. Can you help me get the word out to the Las Vegas Bitcoin community? And like the day after the meetup, someone messaged me. And I messaged the 3 admins. And I was like, sounds like a bit of a coincidence to me. Like, did you do that on purpose? You know, do you intentionally not get back to me until it was too late? But check it out. Bitcoin recovering on the 1 hour chart. There we go. Has anyone sent us any crypto tips today? I don't know, because I forgot to empty the flipping tips jar. So I've got 0.015 Dash and 0.05 Litecoin. That'll buy me a Lambo in a year, won't it? Those little bits of crypto. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough now. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. I've used so much energy that I'm rumbling. Oh my God. 265 billion market cap. It's continuing to sink. That's just got to be the altcoins bleeding. It is double digits. Bitcoin's, not Bitcoin's, altcoins bleeding. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. I need to go rebalance my portfolio now. Oops, it is here. That's my webcam settings. So there we go then. What am I going to do now? Play out? That one? Does that work? That doesn't work, does it? First of all, turn the chat off. How about that? Then, how about the outro music? Where is it? There. Thanks very much for joining me today, guys. If you like this episode, hit the like button. If you're new around here, hit subscribe, whether you're watching this on DTube or YouTube or wherever. And what else? If A, you would like access to my very best material, or B, if some of the stuff I've said today just went straight over your head because it's technobabble, then you may want to check out my website, which is cryptoversity.com. I'll be able to show you that. Cryptoversity.com, where you can click on courses and you can take any one of my foundational online courses that will teach you things like vocabulary, the technology, and just basically give you a foundation knowledge so that when you listen to the news and commentary, all those words that come out of my mouth will make a lot more sense. Alrighty guys, that is all for today. I will be back tomorrow, Friday the 30th of March, with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.